everyone. Happy Wednesday. Rainy, crappy day up here near Toronto. Had another long day, but just got in and wanted to put the slides together and get a video out really quick. Earliest games, the Leafs. Leafs in Utah, they play around like 7. I believe St. Louis and Washington's about 7:30. Then all the other games are quite a bit later today, so not too much worries there. But yeah, just wanted to get the video out. We had a pretty decent day yesterday. Didn't have a chance to put the slides together reviewing everything, but we hit about 49 of the plays given out in that list. And more specifically, the power play point market has been pretty awesome as we've been keeping an eye on that over the last couple of weeks. Yesterday, in particular, we hit 6 of the 14 favorites. That worked out to be about a plus 10.6 unit profit just on the power play points there, just because their odds are so good. Very similar to some of the odds of the kind of lower to mid home run odds for some of the guys there. But yeah, that market's been pretty cool to keep an eye on. The assists as well. Generally, assists are, of course, easier than goals just because with the assists you get potentially 2 per goal. But the power play market is one that we're going to keep an eye on. Really reminds us of kind of spraying the board in those warm weather days with the home runs as far as how the odds go. And then where if you do spray the board a little bit, you don't need as many to come through to still maintain a profitable day in that segment. So you're going to see that trend here. We got a bunch of power play point guys tonight. We're going to see how that theory continues on a smaller slate with 5 games tonight. So let's just jump right into it. First, we got the Utah Mammoth. They're going into Toronto. They're playing on a back-to-back. They did play last night. And then, yeah, they're going into Toronto to play the Leafs. We got Nylander back. He had a great game the last game. Hopefully, he can keep that rolling. But as far as goals, we're going to like Dylan Guenther from the Utah side of things, plus 195 on that top power play and that second line for the Mammoth. We like William Nylander at plus 160 for Toronto, back up on that top line with Matthews and Nyes, as well as that number 1 Toronto power play unit. Like Logan Cooley for the assist at plus 145. That's a great price. Another lean for Utah that I think is pretty good, playing on that top line with Clayton Keller and Schmaltz, is Barrett Hayton at plus 270. So those odds are pretty good if you do like him. I just kind of favor the second line here going into Toronto, so that's why I liked Cooley there. From the Leaf side of things, we got Oliver Ekman-Larsson. He is playing on that top power play again with Nyes, Tavares, Nylander, and Matthews. So really like his chance for assist at plus 165. Another lean there was Robertson at plus 235, playing on the Tavares line with McMahon. As far as line mate stacks, like the Guenther point and the Cooley assist, plus 185. Also like the Guenther point, the Schmaltz point, and the Sergachev point for plus 310. And then a lean as far as the power play point there for Logan Cooley at plus 240. Toronto's got a decent penalty kill. They're kind of just out of the top 10 there at 82.1%. But moving on to the Leaf stacks, I like the Nylander for 2 points, plus 185. I like the Tavares point, the Ekman-Larsson point at plus 206. And then jumping into the power play point favorites here, like Nylander for a power play point, potentially at plus 200, Ekman-Larsson at plus 360, and Tavares at plus 230. Then the next game is St. Louis at Washington. I don't know. On paper, when I look at all the games tonight, this is probably the one I would think to be the most low scoring. So, of course, having said that, it'll probably end up being a Wild West shootout. But these are 2 pretty low event teams so far this season. Not too much scoring that goes on here, especially Washington as of late. But Dylan Strome's back in the lineup. Beauvillier's back. So they've shaken some things up a little bit. So maybe that'll get some offense going at home there for them. As far as goals, I like the Jordan Kyrou goal for St. Louis at plus 250. I like the Tom Wilson goal for the Capitals at plus 175. For the assists, I like Pavel Buchnevich on that top line and top power play for St. Louis at plus 145. Also like Connor McMichael centering that second line. He spends a little bit of time on the second power play, but he plays alongside Tom Wilson on that second line. So like him for the assist at plus 210. Beauvillier is not a bad lean either at plus 310, of course, playing with Strome and Ovechkin. As far as line mate stacks, I like the Kyrou point and the Shen point for plus 170. I like the Buchnevich assist and the Thomas point for plus 182 from the St. Louis side of things. And then moving in, Washington's 23rd on the penalty kill. We see there at only 75%. So really like the prices on these 2 guys playing top line minutes and on the top power play together for St. Louis. So Snuggerud power play point is plus 420 and the Buchnevich power play point is plus 360. For the Washington side of things, I like the Ovechkin point and the Strome assist at plus 114. I like the Wilson point and the McMichael point at plus 132. And then, of course, for the power play there, we got John Carlson, quarterback in the power play there, top pair defense minutes, top power play minutes. His power play points plus 270. And then I do like Tom Wilson for the power play point at plus 250 as well. Jumping into the next game, we got Columbus going into Calgary to play the Flames, starting out their West Coast road trip. I like the Marchenko goal at plus 200. I like the Morgan Frost goal for Calgary at plus 330, playing on that top power play and centering the second line with Huberdeau and Coronado for the Flames. For the assists, I like Voronkov at plus 165. I like Huberdeau at plus 145 for Calgary. Line mate stacks, I like the Marchenko point, the Voronkov assist at plus 194. Like the Charlie Coyle point at plus 210 all by himself. He centering that third line, but he does spend time on the second power play unit. So didn't mind that at over 200 for him to just get a point by himself. And then for the power play points, Calgary is 18th overall penalty kills. So pretty middle. They're middle of the pack, not doing too bad, but I like Marchenko's price at plus 270 and the Monahan price at plus 290 for power play points there. Calgary side of things, like the Frost point and the Coronado point for plus 228. I like the Huberdeau point and the Kadri point for plus 146. And then Columbus is 30th ranked penalty killing. That's third worst in the entire NHL so far this season. So I like Morgan Frost at plus 300 for a power play point. And I also like Huberdeau's chances at plus 280 for a power play point, despite Calgary not really having a strong power play themselves so far this year. Seeing one of the worst penalty kills in the league might be just what the doctor ordered for them. Then we got Chicago going into Vancouver, Bedard's favorite team growing up. He is from out west in the area. As far as Chicago goal, I like Frank Nazar on that second line, also spending time on the top power play at plus 235. Also like Brock Besser at the plus 200 price for the Canucks. As far as assists, I like Tara Vinen at plus 180. And then I like Jake DeBrusk at plus 215 for Vancouver. For the line mate stacks, I like Lucas Reichel, former Blackhawk, playing on the second line with Besser and DeBrusk. I like him for a point and Besser for a point at plus 216 odds. Quinn Hughes is back. I like him for an assist and a Jake DeBrusk point at plus 168. And then the Chicago penalty kills, middle of the pack again, 80%. But if Vancouver is going to get a power play goal, I like Besser and Sherwood's chances to be in on it at plus 260 and plus 380 apiece there. Moving to the Chicago side of things, for the Blackhawks, I like the Nazar point and the Tara Vinen point at plus 160. I like the Bedard 2 points and his line mate Andre Burakovsky for plus 274. And then as far as the power play points for Chicago, Vancouver has the 27th ranked penalty kill, just under 70% there, so not too great. Definitely bottom third of the league. And I like the Nazar power play point at plus 350 and the Burakovsky power play point at plus 380 for favorites there with those prices. And then also got Bedard on there as a lean at plus 240. Then our last game of the night, we got the Sharks going in to play the Kraken in Seattle. As far as goals in this one, I like Philip Kurashev on that second line and second power play for San Jose, plus 360 odds. Love those odds for him and his chances to get a goal tonight. From the Kraken side of things, we got Jordan Eberle on that top line, top power play. He's at plus 220 for the goal tonight. Like Alex Wenberg at plus 185 for an assist for the Sharks. I like Eli Tolvanen at plus 170 up on that top power play and top line for Seattle now. Like that price as well. Line mate stacks, we got Wenberg point and Kurashev point for plus 305. Really like that price for two guys. Kurashev's been hot since coming back into the lineup. Got the Dmitry Orlov point at plus 155. Spends time on the second power play and then also plays on the top defensive pairing for San Jose. I like the Kurashev power play point plus 650. Unbelievable price. Hopefully he can come through at that price for us. Then I also like the chances for Celebrini at a power play point at plus 200. For the Seattle side of things, I like the Eberle point and the Tolvanen point at plus 120. I like the Stevenson point and the Kako point at plus 174. And then as far as their power play, again, another really bad penalty kill on the ice tonight. San Jose, they're 29th. They're usually involved in high-scoring games, so hopefully some of that scoring for Seattle can come on the power play. For lean, we got Vince Dunn. He's the on the top defense pair, and then he is the quarterback of that power play on the blue line. He's at plus 250, but really like the prices on the next two guys to make them favorites. For Stevenson, power play point at plus 360. He does center, or he was he's the center on the second line there, and then he does play the secondary defensive spot on the power play there. So plus 360, love that price for him. And then Jordan Eberle at plus 310. So, yep, that wraps it up. And as always, just remember when a goal scored, potentially 3 points for the offensive team are up for grabs with the goal and the potentially 2 assists on the play. And then, like I said, we're going to keep an eye on these power play points. They've been pretty good so far. We were up 10.6 units just as far as power play points on the favorites when you look at the power play points specifically yesterday. So, very interesting market so far early this year, and want to see if that's something worth continuing to dip into even more. So, good luck with any plays anybody's on tonight. Cheers, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.